have some news for you as far as the investigation. Well, we were able to determine that was an irritant, an aerosol irritant that was released in the area. We were able to confirm that by chemical analysis with a manufacturer. For that, there's no lasting results, effects rather, for anybody that was involved as far as any of the workers that were involved in the area. That area is going to be cleaned up, and they can let you know, Michelle can let you know exactly what they're going to do as far as the timeline for the post office being reopened. We don't believe that anything criminal occurred here. So from a law enforcement standpoint, we're going to leave it to the postal inspectors and them to handle their investigation.
Where was the irritant found?
It wasn't found per se. It was in the air and collected, and we were able to analyze it.
So not something from a package, something potentially with the HVAC or machines?
That's still under investigation, but there's no threat in that area now.
Any name to the potential aerosol or whatever it was in the air?
It's just an irritant.
Just an irritant.
An irritant that's similar to some sprays that are out there that would affect your eyes or something like that.
Everyone released from the hospital?
They were quarantined until we could find out exactly what was the source of this. And now that we have determined that, they'll be released. There's nobody, I believe, that's still under treatment.
So what triggered this?
I'll let Michelle address
I'm sorry,
that.
I didn't hear the question.
What triggered the release of the aerosol irritant?
At this point, we're not certain about that. We haven't even been able to get back into the facility. We'll have to find out what the source was and then interview some people to find out exactly what caused the discharge. We don't know that at this
When
time.
it came in the mail?
No,
Or
we do not
you
know
don't
that.
Have you had many cases like this in this area or, throughout all the postal service?
No, and as was said, this was a non-toxic discharge of an aerosol that was an irritant. At this point, we don't see anything that is criminal here, but we will be doing an investigation to determine just exactly the source of the discharge.
What will the investigation include? How do you find the source of that?
Through we'll interview people, and once we have access to the scene, we'll be able to get into the scene and see. I'm going blind here because I have not been into the post office. I have not seen where the spill was, or until we can evaluate it more closely. I have been on the sideline, so I really can't give you much more than that.
Do you know the zip code that is affected by this, who will not be receiving their mail today?
I do just 14092, which is Lewiston, New York. And I have been in contact with Postal, and we will have to make sure that the irritant is cleared up and aired out and whatever, because as I said before, the safety and health of our employees is certainly, even though it is not dangerous, it certainly is. It does cause discomfort, so that's going to have to be cleaned up. Whether or not that we can get that done and have the facility functional tomorrow, I don't know yet, or because there's going to be some coordination with cleaning up that discharge. But everyone will receive mail. I've been in contact with Postal, and they're actually dividing the letter carriers into a couple of different area offices, and they'll be delivering out of that office tomorrow if they cannot get back in here today.
Do you know what office that is?
They're actually going to be split up. I guess I don't know who's going where. Some people go to Ransomville, some people go to Niagara Falls. Just area post offices that can accommodate the extra personnel.
So what happens? Go ahead.
As far as the aerosol, is it touching mail? Does mail have to be cleaned or anything like that before it goes out? Or
I have not been in the facility. I haven't been able to assess that. So at this point, up to right now, we came to you with the information as soon as we had it. Up to right now, it was hazmat teams that were in the building. Their function is to identify and determine a threat level. And we've determined that it's a non-toxic irritant, and everything beyond that, as far as what mail was effective and where exactly in the facility this was, I won't know that until I actually get access to the facility, and that may not even happen today, because we can't even go in there until that gets cleaned up.
You used the word spill. Is that an accurate description of what happened in there?
No, it was an aerosol discharge. There is a product of the discharge, but it's not a spill. That's a term that we use internally, leaks, spills, but no, as far as I know, as I said, and I'll repeat, I have not been in there, I have not seen it. I would not characterize it as anything at this point, having not been in the site. I cannot characterize it in any way.
So if it wasn't criminal in nature, are we talking about perhaps employee error, machine error? What would have triggered this?
I won't know that until we do some further investigation and we're able to find out the details around the discharge.
The people that were taken to the hospital, have they said that they saw anything, they opened anything? With the communication been with the people that went to the hospital?
We have spoken with the people in the hospital. They just reported their symptoms to us and what had occurred, that there were a couple of people that were symptomatic, that were having teary eyes or a dryness in their throat, which is consistent with an irritant, and the postmaster, concerned for their health and safety, decided to evacuate the building, call in emergency response to err on the safe side, to make sure that our employees are the first priority.
So the post office could be open tomorrow.
It could be. I can't say that definitively.
How will people find out?
As I said, as far as mail delivery goes, as far as the actual retail, they probably have to come here and actually see, unless, we could put something out. Our media people, I'm not a media person, I guess the postal media people could put something out to all you guys to put that out on the air, but I can't.
And Chief, how about
you sent your hazmat people into that building. What did they share with you when they came out? What they see, what they smell?
Our hazmat crews did an initial entry into the facility. They took a lot of specialized metering with them. A very wide spread of metering that we use in processing of any unknown type of incident. We had some identifiers come up with our instrumentation. Our personnel were getting tired out. We had sent a total of 3 two-man teams in, plus decontamination on the initial. Upon coming back out, we collected data. We followed through with our data, came up with another game plan with what we were receiving from our instrumentation at that point. Then we expanded our investigation, went back in and continued to do more investigation to what was going on as far as it being irritant. After we had gone through many cycles of high threshold risk, we brought it down to very low threshold risk that it was an irritant. Pending the federal investigation, because it is federal property. Most of the information that we've received, the studies we've done, the testing we've performed, there's no immediate danger to life or health or risk or environment. We can guarantee that. Everything is safe. U.S. Postal Service, once we bring our last crew out, and we will turn the facility over to the U.S. Postal Inspectors, and then they will continue their investigation as to what may have happened in there.
Did you remove anything from the building?
Did we remove anything from the building? No, we took samples inside the building, and because of its investigation, we had to follow certain chain of custody procedures. The material's all left in the building that we've tested and sampled and checked and searched through the building to come up with the conclusion that we have that it is an irritant.
Is this irritant something that your crews have seen or dealt with previously?
We've dealt with irritants over the years.
But this specifically?
This specifically, it'll still come through some of the investigation that they need to go through, and I'm sure we will cross information still over the days to come to figure out more what happened inside the facility. But we are very, very guaranteed, with a lot of phone calls, dealing with chemists and everything else, that it was a straight irritant to what we would know it as, and that there is no long-lasting effects of that. And again, no immediate danger to life, health, or safety, or to the environment.
Is it likely to have contaminated the mail that's in there? Is that the kind of thing that people are going to lose?
I did not enter the facility myself. My crews have entered the facility. Through investigation of what they worked through and found, I would probably not believe so. The U.S. Postal Service, of course, will bring in their investigative team. They will also bring in their own contracted cleanup crews to assess anything that was touched in there. Nothing will come out of there that was in contact with that irritant.
How long till hazmat teams are able to come out?
We should be finished up here very shortly. I would imagine the crews will be out within the next half hour through their cleanup time, and we'll probably start to shut down and pick up all of our equipment.
Who all ended up on scene here with you? I know there was discussion about mutual aid from Erie County as well.
We had Niagara County Hazmat here, Niagara Falls Air Force Base Department of Defense Fire Department's hazmat team. We had Erie County Hazmat team and representatives and assistants from the City of Buffalo Fire Department.
So,
Hazmat.
Chief, can we anticipate the road reopening them in the near future, or?
Yes, we'll reopen the road shortly as soon as we clear some of the necessary equipment out of here, and we feel that it's safe. Then we'll reopen the road as well. We also will be doing both through our Facebook and as well as fax, for which we have most of your contact. We'll be issuing a press release as well.
Breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief at this point?
Yes, very much so. It's I'd have to say for all of us here that it's probably one of the better outcomes that we could have hoped for.
Some of us are new here. Could we get names and titles? We'll start with you.
Mark Hain, Hain, Deputy Fire Coordinator, Niagara County Emergency Services, Chief of Niagara County Hazmat.
Chief Frank Previtt, Lewiston Police Department.
Michelle, we'll have you step up and give your
Yeah.
name again.
I'm Michelle Sawinski, U.S. Postal Inspection Service.
Could you spell your last name for us, please?
It's S-I-W-I-N-S-K-I, and that's Michelle